Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie, and today we're going to take you on a small harvest. There's not a lot to harvest, but I have my first tomatoes and I'm really excited. So let's take you on this adventure. Now the first thing that I'm going to harvest is my kale. I've got my curly leaf kale, and behind me I've got my chard. And I really do like to fry those up together for dinners and stuff like that. So we're going to do some harvesting of that. We're just taking off some of the lower leaves. They look pretty good. There's not a lot of damage. I don't see any aphids or anything. We've gotten lucky this year. Now that's enough for just me, so let's go get some of the chard. Now I love harvesting several of the different colors. We've got this beautiful red color here. A little bit more of a pink. We've got the yellow. A little bit more of the pink. And over here we have some of the white. So we'll just get a couple of more and that should be plenty. So here we have my kale and my chard. The chard has a little bit of leaf miner damage and some, bug bites and everything like that, but I don't really care. We're just going to wash it off and eat it. We'll cook it up. I like chopping up the stems, frying it with, a little bit of bacon. I'm not a vegan or anything. And the kale, a little bit of the homegrown garlic, and it is absolutely wonderful. So let's try some carrots. Let me show you what's been going on with my carrots. Now this is my carrot patch. They've been growing very, very slowly. These were planted in March. And what I've been doing, because I found that they're really tasty even when they're little, is I've been kind of digging around and finding ones that might be just a little bit more developed. Okay, this one right here. Look, it's kind of cute, and it's really good. So let's find one more. So now we have enough carrots for a little bit of a treat. We'll just take some of the dirt off of them. I can wash off the chard later and put it in with my chard and my kale. Now we have one other thing that's been growing over here. Now we have my beets. My beets have really not done well at all over here. They were planted in March, the same time as the carrots, and they should have been well done and gone. But we only have one ready to harvest right here. So let's pull this one out. Disentangle it from this little guy here. Bury these guys back up. Pull out my Mexican feathergrass, which this year, maybe it likes drought. It's been more invasive this year. But there's my beet. It's actually a good size. So I'm really happy about that. I love beets, so we have that. So there we go. That's the makings of a good meal. Now comes the exciting part. If you look right here, look what we've got. We've got one ripe cherry tomato. First ripe cherry tomato of the year. One. Let's go see what else we have. These are getting really close. We've got a couple more getting close. As we pass the onions, they are starting to look like they might be ready here shortly. Now you can tell when onions are ready. If you see, look over here, they'll start to tip over. Now if they don't tip over on their own once the bulbs are a decent size, like that one right there is a great size. They're all looking pretty decent here. Let's look over here. If they don't start tipping over on their own, I will come through and knock the tops over and wait until they dry down just a little bit. So we'll show you an onion harvest a little bit later. The corn and the beans are looking good. Very far from being harvest ready though. And here's my tomatoes. Let's look at these and see what's going on. If you look down here, we've got a San Marzano that's almost ready. And way back in here, I don't know if you could even see it. Let's see if we can move some of these things. Way back here, there's a black seaman that is close. It's getting there, but it's not quite ready yet. And then over here, we've got a common tomato problem. Let's show you this. This is a San Marzano. And there we have blossom end rot. Now, if you listen to a lot of people, they say it's because you do not have enough calcium in your soils. Now, that may be so. My soil is a mix that I made myself, so it may need more calcium. But more often than not, especially here in Utah, it's that you have inconsistent watering or high heat. This is a stress response from the tomato, which makes it so that it can't take up the calcium that's available. So, and San Marzanos are very susceptible to it. So I'm going to need to check, I could go get my soil tested. I definitely water consistently, but it's been so hot that I'm wondering if it's a heat response. And I can definitely cut off the bad end and see if it's good inside and eat it if it's still good inside. But most of my San Marzanos are still small and green, along with the black seamans. Let's go on the other side and look at the jet stars. Now here is one that is starting to turn color. The jet stars seem to be way ahead, and look at this over here. I am so excited. We've got 2 tomatoes that are ripe. There's 1, 2. Now these do not have blossom end rot, which is what the disease is called. Well, it's not a disease, it's just a response, a stress response. But they don't have blossom end rot, and these are highly resistant to blossom end rot. So I'm really excited. We have tomatoes. Now let's go up and look at my other cherry tomato. This is another sun sugar, and we've got a few ready on this one. So we can harvest these. They're kind of small. And in the camera, they're not looking as yellow as they are, as they do in real life. Can't waste this one. Got some more beans coming up. Now another thing that I could do if I wanted, I'm not going to do it yet, is I could start harvesting and drying my basil. And I do it the very easy, lazy way, is I'll just go cut the tops off, put them on top of my microwave. When they're dry, I stick them in a jar. And I haven't had to buy basil for years doing it that way. But the other thing we're going to harvest is my banana peppers. There's a bunch of them, so let's go look at these. Now we've got one down here that went a little too long, but we could still use it. Look how pretty that is. So let's get to harvesting banana peppers. I'm not an extremely experienced pepper grower. From what I have heard though, it is really good to harvest, even if it's a little tiny bit early, the first ripe peppers, because if you do that, it will definitely spark the plant to produce more. So we're just going to harvest all the ones that we can that are not really green. Last year I did this and they still turned into great pickled banana peppers. So here we are with my first tomato and pepper harvest of 2021. It was a little more than I thought, but I am so excited to go cook some dinner. Now it's a little late for dinner. It's almost 9:00 p.m. It's getting dark, but I am really excited. This is how my summers go. So I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you did enjoy my video, please like and subscribe, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.